Welcome back to the LCS, where we've got Dignitas looking to take down a top-of-the-table team, Evil Geniuses. Ezreal, this should be a pretty decent game. We've had some long ones today, and I hope Dignitas puts up a decent fight as well, and just like Golden Guardians, can find themselves a victory.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these teams that were kind of towards the lower end of the table have been having a little bit better of a week. Immortals picked up their first win this weekend. Golden Guardians just grabbed another win. Dignitas, they are obviously searching for a win here against Evil Geniuses. And Evil Geniuses is honestly coming off of what was, I think, a pretty rough game, it's fair to say, for them. They were stomped by TSM pretty badly. I do think that, a lot of people were quick to point to the fact that Jiizuke wasn't on carries. I think that's legit. It was kind of somewhat out of their comfort zone. They did this AP Volibear Gunblade stuff, and that was a little bit different too. So, I think they tried some different things. It didn't really work. I'm kind of expecting them to go back to what is more their norm. Playing more towards side lanes, putting Jiizuke on carries, and really trying to be successful with that.
Had really great job or great games with finding poke synergy with Zeyzal and Jiizuke on the Corki and Yuumi things that we were talking about, as well as our featured matchup today is Jiizuke versus Froggen, because it just seems like a clash of two styles.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of people talk about Froggen as kind of the late game scaling guy who's gonna sit back more and beat this late game win condition. He has definitely been struggling, I think, a lot more this split, whereas Jiizuke has just been everywhere. Jiizuke, I think, has been one of the best players this split. He's really been a standout. He did not perform that well, though, obviously, in their loss to Cloud9 or now TSM, so that is 2 games that he hasn't been looking as good. But in their wins, they have been really, really strong. He's been able to play aggressive. The Corki plus Yuumi game was great. His TF has looked great. So he is a legitimate, real carry threat, but it has been about all of EG stepping up, to be honest. Their play as an entire squad, as a team, has been much more solid. Kumo, despite having a bad Volibear game yesterday, I think has been really good. Kumo has actually been looking a lot better, and this is that mid lane matchup we're talking about. I think the big thing that stands up to me really is the forward percentage, right? And this is just actually mid lane stats for week 3, I'm assuming here, because I don't think that 6% KP could be right, unless it was just about yesterday's game where Jiizuke basically just chain died on Karma. So maybe not indicative of their performance throughout this split or throughout the year. Jiizuke has definitely been the better performer, but I think it's about how aggressive he is and how he kind of dictates the pace of the game with what he wants to do. He makes you march to the beat of his drum, and we're gonna have to see, can Froggen contain him, or can Froggen try to show us a bit of a different style and try to match him?
And I'm excited we get to see that right out of picks and bans, whether or not he gets back on those aggressive champions. As well for Dignitas, looking in the jungle to start here at Akaadian, refining that aggression. Where's the we're gonna smurf on him, man? Where is it?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to really step up. I think that Akaadian has not been performing up to his own level. He has been kind of tweeting about that, and his disappointment with their play so far. He has been put on some disadvantageous matchups where he got ran over, like against Closer in Golden Guardians' first win. But he's also been put on the Nidalee side of the Trundle matchup on the Graves. He's been put on some of these aggressive matchups where he should be more running the game and dictating the pace, and it hasn't really happened. He has looked somewhat more timid, I think, than I am used to seeing coming out of Akaadian, because in the past, really, he did flourish in these types of metas. When you think of Akaadian kind of at his peak, which a lot of people will reference, the Echo Fox days back in the day, it was on these power farmers. It was him getting these huge leads and just solo carrying games. And we have seen from multiple junglers that you can replicate that type of performance in this current meta. So I'm hoping for him he can step up.
Absolutely, and we can't, we're going into picks and bans soon, but we can't do that without talking about Lourlo being in the top, playing so well, and we have seen Lourlo play well. We've seen Lourlo take over games. It's just people always criticize that it's not super consistent, not 100%. Well, nobody's 100%. This guy has made an impact throughout his career.
Yeah, he has. He definitely had his ups and downs, but as you say, he can be a big impact player. He is a guy who has had some really good carry performances in the LCS. He was really knocked, I think, for his consistency back when he was more of a mainstay, because he would have this incredible game where he'd be playing like a split pusher, like a Camille or an Aurelia or whatever, and take over, and then he'd have a couple games in a row where maybe he reached a little bit too far, put himself behind, and then couldn't make anything happen. But Lourlo, is a player I really like to watch. He has a really entertaining stream. He plays a variety of carry carry style champions. You know, he doesn't feel afraid to play, you know, the supportive style stuff like the Ornn we saw yesterday, where I think he performed very well in a loss, or play the more aggressive carry style stuff. So I'm hoping we're going to get some of that, get some new flair coming out of the Dignitas top lane, as they are still searching for their first win.
So let's see what they have for each other in picks and bans. I'm excited to see also what Dignitas' bot lane gets. Afro's been cruising on that Thresh, gets banned, bye-bye. Throwing so many hooks the other day, and their loss, unfortunately. But man, were those setups beautiful. Hope to see more of that from the bot lane of Johnsun and aphromoo, as we are almost through our first phase of bans.
Yeah, honestly, it has been feeling sometimes like the Dignitas bot lane is living a little bit of elo hell. They have been playing really, really well in so many of these losses. It has been Johnsun and aphromoo actually doing a really good job. You know, Afro, I think, has been standout on the Thresh, as you pointed out, but I also think he looked good on the Bard. He's really been looking good on a variety of picks. And, you know, even when the team is way behind, they are often ahead. Yuumi has been getting banned a tremendous amount lately. It is conspicuously left open. This does mean that there is the possibility of grabbing something like an Olaf if you really want to give, you know, a preferential jungle matchup there to Akaadian.
And also get the Olaf away from the Yuumi. This is, oh man, I just remember already Jiizuke's Corki. Volibear's left up. There's still some great picks here for 1 and 2 for Dignitas. The TF was banned out instead.
Yeah, I would like Olaf. I just think it's risky to give over Olaf plus Yuumi as a combination. It's just so strong. We've seen it have success, you know, a lot of times in pro play. And it's something that, you know, Yuumi has success not only in lane, but has a tremendous amount of success outside of lane, you know, dealing with some of those types of situations where you have someone that you can kind of amp up. And Olaf is such a strong champion in the early game, but does really fall off towards the later end of the game, you know, and Yuumi kind of really flattens that fall off. You know, it makes it so that you can have a lot of effectiveness going later with the speed up, with the healing, with the ultimate to lock people down. It kind of fills a lot of things that you do need, but they are not going to go for it. It is going to be Yuumi Ezreal, kind of that poke style comp coming out of the bottom lane, and they are going to have Svenskeren on the Trundle, which will help shred through any frontliners that Dignitas does have.
Easy peasy, setting up some hit confirms as well for Jiizuke and some prowling projectiles from Zeyzal. I should say banging Zeyzal, as the picks will be distributed. Final pick here for mid lane, it's going to be Orianna. So pretty disjointed in what both teams want here for first phase, but they're feeling comfortable in their picks. We'll see what they ban out here for second phase.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see exactly what they want to target. You know, I do think that Corki could be a good ban here. It is someone that would bring, you know, magic damage. It is a really good pairing with the Yuumi. Also, we have already seen EG win a game with that. So, you know, ban out the LeBlanc, that could be a little bit difficult here. We'll see if Dignitas is worried about that Corki at all, or if they would prefer to have Jiizuke on more of a scaling matchup, something that isn't as aggressive, where he can kind of, you know, dictate the pace early. Okay.
All right.
So just trying to keep him off of more of those side laner style champions. You know, LeBlanc loves to play out of fog, you know, go to those side lanes. Echo, similar style. This does tell me that Dignitas are trying to put him on something where it's more of just that 5v5, force them towards the team fights where they are going to have their Orianna, their Kai'Sa, their Volibear, champions that can excel in that area. A couple, you know, bans, one towards the top lane for that Wukong. The Nautilus also such a good pairing alongside the Kai'Sa, because you throw in that ultimate from the Nautilus that gets you a guaranteed stack of plasma onto whoever you would want to ult on as that Kai'Sa. So it's kind of that Kai'Sa delivery service there that can be very powerful. But aphromoo is going to bring out the Bard, which is pretty hype.
Once again, so Bard play number 2. There's 2 Thresh, 2 Bard now, 1 Leona, 1 Lourlo. So keeping the variety up there and the choice that his team can get out of a support. Maybe Kumo goes for the Jayce. Had a great game on the Aatrox previously. We've been seeing a lot of good play out of Kumo. Keep eyes on him throughout the summer split. What is Zeyzal going to get here for what is mid lane? Jiizuke to carry the game. The Corki is up.
Yeah.
The Corki's locked.
Yeah, it seems like the obvious pick. You know, this is something that works really well with poke, but you also have some pretty strong team fighters. You know, Corki, Jayce, Ezreal, plus Yuumi. That is so much poke, honestly, especially later in the game when you get a couple levels into that ultimate there for Corki. So they are going to be pretty frightening. But even just in the straight up like hard engage 5v5 style, Trundle plus Yuumi plus Corki, and you have the Ezreal to beat down any frontliners, that is pretty frightening. With the Lee Sin lock, we know Volley is going top, so they do have multiple ways to kind of deliver that Orianna shockwave. You know, send in the Lee Sin, send in the Volibear with the ultimate, try to set that up. But as far as hard engage, you know, I wouldn't really say there's incredible hard engage from Dignitas. It's more reliant on either flanks or setting fights up with the Bard ult. So if Afro can, you know, hit a Bard ult on someone, you can move up the Orianna ball, have it placed for that shockwave, have Lee Sin ready for the kick and the follow-up. That is going to be more their way to start the fights, whereas EG is going to be about dropping the Trundle pillar, slowing people down, and setting up for this poke and skill shots. That is where they are really going to excel. You get pillared in, you get hit by the Corki ult, you get hit by the Shock Blast, by the Mystic Shot. It can be very, very difficult to deal with, especially if EG gets ahead.
No, thank you. That's what I was thinking about. The part where they get ahead, where that's also an Iceborne slow, and there's also the slow from Yuumi's probably projectiles, and that's going to be a fun time. But if they can get ahead, they do have a team that can just get onto these turrets, start to control the game, and now we do get, we kind of said it might be an Italy for Akaadian, but it's the Lee Sin this time. The first time he's going to be taking it in the Summer Split. We know he can play it, but again, that aggression, he will be able to try and get himself out there and really put an advantage in the lane for the teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like really a power farmer, but it is a playmaker, and it's something that he can kind of get involved with. You know, even looking towards the Jayce, I do think Jayce has to be fairly careful when you are up against Lee Sin and Volibear. If you do get stunned up by the Volibear, that's an easy setup for Akaadian to land that Lee Sin Q. That is something where you could be looking to actually, you know, go for dives, go for plays to try to put Kumo behind, because we do know that Jayce can become pretty worthless pretty fast if you are put down.
The fleet Jiizuke. All right, I like it. Yuumi's going to be with him at first. So we already know Zeyzal and Jiizuke work together with this comp. And we're going to see it once again. It was an assist of the day, actually, for a State Farm coming in. So these two just making plays that you cannot forget. We'll see against Dignitas here. Dig looking to put a win in that left column. Like you said, we're almost towards the halfway of the split as they find each other top and just go for a little love tap.
Little fleet Volibear action is pretty interesting, actually. It's not something that I have seen much of. You know, it does make sense if you're looking at it through the terms of just trying to survive this range matchup. You know, playing with that Doran shield, playing with the fleet footwork can help you heal through that. But last time we saw a fleet that seemed a little bit out of place was on that Mordekaiser, and it turned out the Haunter just picked the wrong runes. So that's always a possibility, too.
Oh, no.
But for now, I am just going to assume that it is intentional, trying to withstand that early damage that is going to be coming out of Jayce. I will say, I'm actually really surprised by the fact that Kumo is playing Doran Shield. I just think that's weird. If you're going to go Jayce and go for that sort of a start, it's like you're already just trying to play on the back foot, and if you're just going to match farm, then that's really good for the Volibear. So I'm definitely not a fan of that setup at all. And I mean, the fact that you're starting Doran Shield, he's starting Doran Shield, he has fleet, and he actually went second wind as well, so he's going to have all that extra healing there. I just don't see how Jayce could get any sort of an early advantage now in this matchup against the Volibear.
So it's just, you shouldn't worry about, well, what is he afraid of? The kind of passive attack that would hit him as the wave gets cleared, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could be getting zapped a little bit from that. It could be, you know, the Volibear E poking you out or something. But like, the way I see it is you're already losing the game as a Jayce if you're just playing to farm or playing passively. So, you know, even though there is more inherent risk to playing, you know, with that longsword start or the Doran Blade start, like, that is what you signed up for. You picked Jayce. You picked
that's where the
this
value
range
comes
in the melee matchup. Yeah, you're supposed to be bullying him. You're supposed to be threatening the kills. You're supposed to have him locked in a turret. And if you're going to do this, it's like, you've already shown that you're like scared to play out the matchup, and maybe he'll do great, and maybe he'll dominate anyway, because it is a very modern point. But
just stats for stats, yeah, absolutely. We will keep an eye on what's going on the top side. Looks like they may get a little bit of attention here soon, as Svenskeren's going to have a double buff Trundle. See if he can conquer the top. Lourlo does have flash, so they'll at least be able to get that. Oh, hammered him back a little too early. Maybe he was trying to get him up into the brush there.
Yeah, and I think Svenskeren just wanted to show up here to make sure that Lee Sin didn't gank him, to make sure that Kumo didn't die while he was pushing this in, because you can be in a disadvantageous spot. But they do move towards the scuttle. You're going to have to back off, though, as Lourlo is kind of locked under his turret right there. Also worth noting, Svenskeren is actually playing Phase Rush. So very interesting. Almost always in competitive play, you do see people just going for PTA. Phase Rush can allow you to really kind of stick on top of people, but it's definitely not something that I see as common on the Trundle whatsoever.
Right.
You know, and I'm kind of really trying to think through the reasoning here in this game, but I guess I'm kind of failing to see it.
That basically means Jayce can't get away if you're the one to pop her up, right? You have her, but it's kind of a solo target you're looking for there.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is with Trundle, it's not like you're, as like a tank supportive competitive style Trundle. It's not like you're just going to pop the Phase Rush and chase down the Jayce and kill her by yourself anyway. Maybe it's more about the in and out in the fight, and he feels like, hey, I can like go in and proc the Phase Rush and then, remove the slows from the Orianna, and potentially a Bard Q or whatever, and then kind of kite out. But we'll have to kind of just track it and see exactly what does play out, because it's definitely a very atypical start, I will say, and I think it's going to make the dueling potentially worse against the Lee Sin, unless he feels like he wins that duel so hard that he can just chase down the Lee Sin and win that.
Let me tell you, Zale, I'm digging it.
Let's see it.
We'll see. Here we go.
Go fast.
It's all about to play out. Which door will they choose? It's only going to be a few hits, obviously. There's no kill coming from this. A good pressure, though, from Froggen as he had the mid lane in. That's why we saw Akaadian doing a little bit of roaming around there. And Jiizuke is quite low, so actually could have gotten pretty big play out of that. They push him out, and Froggen's done a nice job here of controlling the mid wave. Teleport should come back in for Jiizuke. They will not miss too much.
Yeah, so I mean, the Phase Rush, not a big deal there, as they're actually going to go on Froggen. Froggen's got a flash, but he's still slowed down.
He is so fast right now. Jiizuke can't Valkyrie in, and Zeyzal just on the edge of that party. Three's a crowd in mid, and it looks like this will be Infernal Drake as they push Froggen away, getting his flash as well.
Yeah, that was really nice. Jiizuke had been getting pressured very heavily. He was down a full wave to Froggen, in that 1v1. And just getting the flash off of Froggen means that Froggen now cannot play as aggressively, cannot play in the face of Jiizuke as much, because he's got to be worried about ganks. I don't know if they can actually kill this fast enough, though. This is getting really dicey.
Oh, I was going to say, that's Lee Sin's love right there. Low early Drake, but Svenskeren comes up with a big bite there. I don't know, did he even get a smite on that one? Just able to come up with the hit.
Yeah, I think he did drop that smite. Was able to actually knock that down and finish it off. So well done to him. But that was really, really close. That was a second, maybe even half a second from going really bad, from potentially losing that dragon, maybe even losing their life. But they get it. And that is going to be feeling really, really good. The tier buy was there for Jiizuke, so despite the fact that he was down a bit, the gank helps him out. He had enough gold to go for that tier and refillable, so he's going to be sitting at a pretty nice spot. And if you haven't seen this build, it really is about tier, presence of mind stacking, and Corkis like to go for these late game scaling builds where they grab the Triforce a little bit later. Your early game power is definitely lower, but the late game power is very, very high. You have so much mana between presence of mind and the tier fully stacked, and then the mana from the Sheen to be able to just poke nonstop and really, really take over in fights.
Akaadian cleaning up in the river as we get a bit of room for each team to work. Gold's pretty even across the map. And CS is just being evened out from lane to lane. Let's see if Froggen can get any more assistance here from aphromoo. He is doing a bit of roaming, but also meeping. You got to make yourself quick.
Yep.
He'll head back to lane.
It's always nice to just threaten those roams. Bard is one of the most annoying champions to actually play against as a mid laner, because anytime he gets out of lane, not only do you have those portals to actually arrive a lot more quickly than you would think, sometimes the meeps you can grab on the way, that's a lot of move speed to actually be able to grab up and move over there. Plus, when you're playing this Guardian Relic Shield build, you don't have the mana regen from Spell Thief, so if you're spending much mana, it becomes actually more important to go and pick up those meeps to keep your mana high.
69 to 68 on this bot side. Pretty passive for the EG gang. We had a bit more aggression when they played this comp last time with Svenskeren coming down. But this time he's going to be focusing mid. Blue transfer over to Jiizuke here for now. And it doesn't look like Dignitas is really trying to activate anything either, giving Svenskeren and the rest of the team even a bit of advantage. Evil Geniuses usually runs away with it. So very patient here in the early game, as they may try to set something up here on the top side in the fog of war. Nice vision control by the observers to show that Kumo's gonna have to flash out of this one, and gets himself to safety after a quick phase change.
Yep, is able to get out of there, but now down that flash. means it's going to be so risky, really, to push any single time that the jungle could be up on this side of the map. There is potential to even just die to the volley if you get a little bit too brazen. Does have the phase rush, so most scenarios you can kite it out, against that Volibear, but going to be pretty happy about that. Lourlo farming even, hasn't lost any turret plates, and they're actually just returning. But I do believe that Akaadian was spotted. There was a pixel brush ward in that topside river, so when he walked back up towards it, I saw pings from that blue team, question mark pings on that, and yeah, you can see Kumo was just sitting way back, expecting Lee Sin to be in that brush, or possibly even behind him.
I thought for a moment he was going to try to bait. He's like, base gate speed, jiggle back and forth. No, I probably shouldn't do this. They could kill me. Lee Sin can clear that distance easy, but his lane's going to be pushed in so he can save farm now. We'll see where Akaadian decides to go after this. His top, maybe his Raptors are coming up, but they may be looking to get onto this Rift Herald quite soon. Yes, they will.
Yep, Afro is just going to roam on up. You can see that Svenskeren is actually grouped up with Zeyzal, so they are moving up here potentially to try to contest. It may just be a blue steal or something instead, as they do have priority on that top lane. Volibear's moved down, and I think they'll be too late to really get any sort of contest on this.
Yep, roaming back down, and they still have a minute on what's going to spawn in the Dragon's Den of Ocean Drake. I think they're going to try to get a plate here. You can see Yuumi running down with Svenskeren. It may not be quick enough. They're just setting up maybe a counter gank as well down there. So it looks like Dig just a quick step ahead for a moment in the play. EG's able to come up with a little bit of their own as well as they grab up Rift Herald. I'm sorry, Drake.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the Dragon could be up here at 30, so they'll definitely be looking for their second. And they do get a plate on that bottom side, so there is a cost to aphromoo roaming. You're kind of assuming that you're going to get at least the 2 plates from that Rift Herald, so it should be worth it, but it's just not that it's like completely free. Maybe Johnson's forced to miss a CS or 2, you lose that plate, so there is some gold going back the other way. And you can see Svenskeren has been playing very heavily around this bottom side. I think he's just really expecting Bard is 6, Lee Sin is 6, that they're going to look for a Bard ult into an engage. And so he's camping here not to actually try to gank, but to try to counter gank. But it's a big time investment, and you're kind of making that guess, and he's wrong because Lee Sin's up on that top side, so it is a bit of wasted time, but he can use that to just start up this Dragon right on spawn, and with our knowledge that Akaadian is top side, there should be no contest whatsoever.
All right, Ezreal, mountain or cloud, quick?
Mountain, because we've gotten a lot of cloud today.
Oh my God, a literal world champion. Do you just want to finish this yourself? Holy moly.
No problem. Mountains rise, 50-50, flip a coin. 50% of the time, I'm right all the time, Riv.
There you go. Perfect.
Yep.
And that's what we're looking for. So Mountain is going to change the Rift. We're going to be into this one for some shields, and we'll see who can get up onto that soul first. Pressure onto Kumo. It looks like they may just be messing around in the jungle as Akaadian's up here for the time being.
And Lee was spotted moving in. He doesn't know it, but they realize he's here, and they're actually going to go for him.
To the skies, hammered to the face. He says, thank you very much. A quick kick back, and Kumo will take that, just replaces his jaw back into the right spot, and he's good to go back into lane.
Yeah, Akaadian just gets absolutely exploded. So a really good ward there by Kumo, which was intended to actually defend himself against any potential turret dive, knowing that they had that Rift Herald. Lee Sin could walk up into Tribrush, could actually be able to get that. And so you can see him spotted right on that ward. That's for the tower dive defense, but he doesn't show, so he's like, okay, well, Svenskeren, you come up here, let's find him. He's on the Gromp, and it's honestly a really good pillar from Svenskeren. They kind of surround him from multiple sides, and he just pushes him into an awkward spot, so he doesn't really have a good avenue to escape. Even if he flashed over that wall, Svenskeren would have been on the other side and potentially able to just chase him down. So Akaadian holds onto the flash, but does give up first blood.
Sick fadeaway shock blast ban. aphromoo made journey out of this, tries to get the quick cosmic binding in for damage. Void missile just missing. I think Johnsun would have tried to get that one into his back pocket for a kill. I don't think this fight's over just yet. Nope, I'm lying. I thought Bang was going to try to go for a few more WQs, but they just go for the farm.
The poke is actually so annoying, and one of the things that's frustrating about playing into Yuumi as Bard is that you don't have the secondary target to actually latch your Q to. The Yuumi just attaches, and then unless Ezreal's standing on a minion, there's not even a support to actually knock it to. So great, you hit Bang with the Q, but it's just a little bit of damage and slow, so he's just going right back on you and getting so much of that damage out. So it is one of the difficulties with the Bard. They are going to be looking for these kind of medium to short range ultimates. If you go for the kind of max range Bard ults, there's so much time to react, it becomes very easy. But if you can get, like within one screen away or sometimes even closer, you can find these ults that are very difficult to actually respond to without something like a flash. So we'll see if Afro can start to look for those, because I do think that is really where Dignitas is going to have to find a lot of their setup, given that they don't have the most aggressive engage.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully something awesome. The flashy kicks, the kicky flash. Either one works for me. The Jiizuke is going to go ahead.
No preference. You're an equal opportunity kicker.
Absolutely. Jiizuke grabs blue. Froggen's going to be coming up with one of his. So EG has a bit of a spike for themselves with the mana mutes coming up. They're going to be charging up their tiers here, and Sheen on to Bang. Nice gold for Froggen, though. I want to see what he buys here. He has plates, pretty good CS, already had a losing finish, maybe a boots up here if he doesn't decide to get himself some safety. Yep, boots and a blasting wand. So big cannon coming from Froggen here.
Yeah, he's going to be looking really good there. But as you said, I mean, double tier stacking going on here for EG. Yes, Johnsun is going for the same type of build. But when you get to that kind of 2-item power spike on Corki and Ezreal, and you already have level 11 for the rank 2 ultimate on Jiizuke here, that is so frightening actually to deal with. Whether it's double Triforce or it's an Iceborne on Ezreal and just the Triforce on Corki, that is really going to be, I think, the key time that we're going to see EG look to try to really start fighting, look to get aggressive, because I don't think that it's really going to be very likely that Dignitas is going to have the itemization to kind of match those power spikes.
It's been true ever since TPA in the power spike meta of top lane Nidalees and Triforces and then everything else, and Aurelia and Corki and everything Triforce
is pretty good, man.
Everything Triforce.
Yeah, it's almost like some of the different matchups. It's just almost like a completely different champion. Once they finish their Triforce, it's time to be scared.
Yeah, those power spikes are really fun to watch, especially when a team synergizes them like we have here on Evil Geniuses. And they will be putting a bit of that power here down towards the bot side of the map. A turret falls, the first of the game. And we're going to get a TP down here, Zeyzal. Looks like Svenskeren is the caboose on this one. They stop banging his tracks for now, but Zeyzal still able to fly around. Final chapter onto Dignitas here as Kumo is now running for his life versus 4. I don't know if they were going to be able to get to him, and he is now on Mission Impossible.
Yeah, he's trying to get out of there. I don't think there's any way for him to. Nice kick by Akaadian. That was smooth. That was actually a really clean ward hop kick, but very, very quick. And that was kind of that short-range Bard ultimate that I was talking about. He forced the Arcane Shift from Bang with that Q, and then he actually lands that really short-range Bard ult. They don't end up going for him. They collapse instead on Kumo, who they believe to be the more guaranteed kill. But with Johnsun back in base, it's actually EG right now who has priority around this Dragon Pit, despite the fact that they are down a member.
Also wanted to point out, I'd like that kick too, because he served up some good assist gold for his team. Otherwise, you would have seen Kumo running into the turret, getting away with only his damage. So really heady play there from Akaadian. Maybe they can get back in. Lourlo's going to try to just put a bit of pressure on, but he quick, oh my word, has to run out as they see a package for Jiizuke. Nobody wants to receive that right now, especially with a Yuumi on him. So another Drake going over to Evil Geniuses, and it looks like they will be 3 strong as Soul Point is next for them.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty worried for Dignitas. I do think that you're allowing your opponents to get to Soul Point at 16, 17 minutes is very, very frightening. I talked about the double Triforce power spike. I'm anticipating that should be ready for the next dragon fight. And then it's like, okay, good luck. You're fighting at the absolute strongest point of the game for some of these champions in a must-win fight, essentially. Like, yes, you can try to send in Akaadian for, a Dragon Steal, but that's actually more difficult from red side to actually steal that Dragon Pit. You have the advantage playing on that side of the map towards the Baron because you can come over from the back end of the pit, but it's actually very difficult for Akaadian to try to get into a position where he could even attempt to steal a dragon if they want to just try to go for that coin flip instead of its full fight.
Isn't it that thing they say you gotta all go in on a bad call? Maybe if they all just go in.
Yeah.
when they're down, who knows? Who knows? Never say never.
Yeah, I mean, it's better. Like, that sounds like a funny saying, but it's basically that the idea is it's better to all commit to the wrong call than to go like half and half, right? Even if it's not the call that would be the most optimal one, you have a chance of making it work out, of outplaying if you all are committed to the same thing, right? It's like, okay, if you decide you're going to go for a Baron Rush and only half your members go to it, well, it's never going to work ever, right? It's just doomed to fail. So, that's sometimes something that teams talk about. And oh, nice pillar.
Only Bard, only Afro. I would have been like, what is this?
Yeah,
oh yeah, I can journey.
Let me get a
my
clip. This is
word.
ridiculous.
And I think
What are
for a
you
second
doing?
it did give you, obviously you have to realize you're not moving. Then he's like, oh, nope, I know how to get out of this. Easy peasy. Nice pillar, though. Svenskeren looking for a play there as EG is fishing a little bit, as they do have the poke for it and the follow-up to boot. It looks like they'll get mid lane pushed here and start to put pressure up towards this Rift Herald. Going to despawn quite soon.
Yep. Yeah, about a minute until that one would go down, but they'll obviously have lots of time to grab it and, you know, can actually even save it if they want for this potential soul fight. We have seen some teams do that even today. I think it can be quite a nice move where, you know, before you go to the dragon, people are usually fighting over mid lane prio. You go mid lane, you drop the Rift Herald, and then you all run as 5 and just start that dragon. And if they immediately come to answer you at that dragon, well, guess what? They lose their turret to the Rift Herald. And if they take the time to actually answer the Rift Herald, well, maybe you can burn down the dragon before they can even contest.
It's like that what moment where you're fluffing your shirt. You want what? What? Drop Rift Herald. You gonna go for Rift Herald? You gonna come to Dragon? What? It's like that. Have the script. I wish I wish we were on camera.
I'll just take your word for it.
I could act it out for you. You know.
I'm gonna default to trust your riff.
That's perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll take it. 20 minutes coming up on the clock right now. We'll see what else is like what here in this game. 2 minutes on the clock for the Mountain Drake as Kumo is just frozen solid for quite some time. I don't know if they'll have enough to get him. Oh, they do. Oh, they do. I was just trying to make it tense. We knew he was going down. But good kill onto Kumo. Now as they try to rotate around the map, it looks like Dignitas is starting to get the better of Evil Geniuses as they think they're safe throughout their own jungle. They are not. Dig is there.
Yeah, that was a really nice setup. I mean, they sent Lourlo down to the bottom side. They knew that someone would want to actually make the rotation to defend it. And then Bard is just camped out there with Akaadian around to actually set up for that pick. And Afro played that very, very well. Lands the Q-stun, lets that go full duration before then following it up with the Bard ulti to buy the maximum amount of time for Akaadian to come over and for them to actually grab that kill, which then allows Lourlo to grab an easy turret on the bottom side. So nicely done there from Dignitas.
And even more of a spike. The Mermanas are finished throughout those two.
Scary, scary.
Leveling up the tier. There's that Iceborne we figured we would see. And now it's going to be even harder for Dignitas to reposition in these fights as they are taking Mystic shots left and right. Kills on Akaadian as he has brought us the aggressive game we were looking for out of him. And the team just kind of has to be able to collapse on these fights. EG has really been able to find their skirmishes around the map that have been working for them. One kill there, but being able to pressure the turrets is their game and getting that close to gold right now.
Yep, and they really just want to play for soul. You can see that Jiizuke is trying to get every bit of gold he can. He just took the Gromp. He's pinging that he's on the way towards that topside wave. That tells me he must be very close to Triforce. But I don't love greeting out this much for your recall because he doesn't have TP. Maybe he has package available. I'm not actually sure about that. But you want to be to that dragon fight on time. You have got to be there to fight for this. This is something where when you are playing the poke comp, you want to be set up in advance so that you're able to get your opponents really low on health before they're able to actually get that fully committed fight. So we'll see if they are punished for this at all. It does look like he has package, so shouldn't be too big of a deal, and he'll just zoom out on the map. Has the Triforce plus a Kerchi's Shard. So Corki and Ezreal are insanely strong, and Dignitas are forced to fight this. They drop the Rift mid, and they're just going to try to rush down the dragon.
Jiizuke has package, eyes on him, and Svenskeren as they'd be the first in the fight. Very nice cosmic, Tempered Fate going over as well from aphromoo. Lourlo is just on the back of the fight looking for big flank here. Kumo's going to see him first, and the rest of the team now knows Lourlo is there. Akaadian is out of the dragon pit. Looks like this one's going to be over to EG. He goes back in. Akaadian's able to get the Drake. He stops Soul. Now can Dignitas get the fight? This is a big one for them if they can get this resulting fight. The package goes through. Jiizuke's now on the backside. He's going to be able to get a double kill. This is probably a rocket. Prowling projectile just misses. Oh my god, they're just on the coattails of aphromoo and Lourlo right now. But it looks like they will be cleaned up. Froggen's been chased out of the fight. It's ever so slow, but I think they're going to go down Ezreal. And the final few shots are coming through. This is an escape, though, here from Lourlo. He may make it if Frozen Domain isn't up. He's about to hit the blast cone. And is there a TP? Oh, there is the TP. I looked up onto the map, and he had already spiraled in. And it is going to be Baron for EG.
Yeah, straight into Baron. Jiizuke 2Ps from one side to the other, cuts off the escape, gets that free kill onto Lourlo. Now it's on to Baron here. Akaadian is up, and he is on the map, so he's moving over here. We'll see if he can look for another steal. That would be huge. And, I mean, had they lost that dragon, this would just be already GG. It may still be so, but Akaadian going to get zeroed out.
Flash there as well. Follow-up true shot as Baron goes down.
Wow.
And Dignitas try to get themselves to the last objective on the map. Now, 4 minutes till Mountain. That's going to be Soul. We'll see this one again where Akaadian saves the game for Dig. It's still going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely needed this. This would be basically 100% GG if they actually lose this dragon with what happened afterwards. But EG, are committed to the fight. Like, look at all this poke that is actually down on the members. So, yes, Akaadian goes in. There was the smite from Svenskeren down to about 200 HP, so a little bit early. Akaadian was then able to steal it, but look at that. Flashing over the shockwave was Jiizuke. Flashes over, then packages. Not just flashing away defensively from the shockwave. He flashes in, knowing that if it doesn't land, he's not in danger. These are the types of plays that allow him to really capitalize on any sort of advantage. They get that chase down, kill off aphro, and then there is the TP from Jiizuke. Cross map, picks up 1 kill by his tier 2 bot, picks up a 2nd kill by the tier 2 top within a couple seconds, and now they are basically 5,000 gold ahead from what was a dead even game. So much of this gold is funneled onto Jiizuke, and let me tell you, Riv, I've seen this game before. We watched it earlier in the split. It ends with Jiizuke having like 10 kills and a victory.
Yeah, there's still more to come. I was just about to say, he is amazing on the Corki. We hardly ever see him have, bad CS or less than even CS, and he's always getting kills. The aggression where he gets to play forward with double package, a package of the FLICKR rather, it allows him to just disrupt the team like he's flying in like a Gnar or something. It's kind of crazy to watch, and he knows how far ahead he is, and he just abuses that every time.
And I think one of the things that's really special about him is he knows exactly what spells that he has to watch for, when there are those zones of threat. Like, he realizes, he held package for so long in that previous dragon fight. He didn't just randomly package in. He actually waits exactly until they have someone already down, then flashes past the shockwave, which was the last real threatening ability for him in that fight. And then he knows he can go all in. And it's something that, really requires a lot of focus, a lot of presence of mind to track all of the different spells, to know all the different cooldowns, and know when you can find your moment to really go aggressive. And he makes it look very, very easy when we all know it really is not. How many times have you seen your Fed Corki just package into a team fight and solo queue and instantly die? Because for me, it's a lot.
Obviously, I am not of high elo, but every time I play something like Corki, where you're like, yeah, I can shred him with Gatling, and I'm dropping frost bombs on him, and I'm shooting missiles, doing 100 HP. He hits them, and they, like, disappear off the map. You're always wondering, like, you got to get yourself ahead. You got to keep the right pace in the game, especially on Corki, and when you do, this is what it looks like, honestly. Now 3 kills ahead, and Jiizuke is just having a field day once again. The rest of the team having a little bit of fun here. Looks like they might be able to get a kill onto aphromoo, but he just gets out alive. You can't say that too soon. This team has so much chase from evil geniuses.
Yeah, this could honestly just be game. We'll actually see how aggressive they want to play it. They could play more defensively and go back for the mountain, but they have so much poke. You already have 2 inhibitors down. All you have to do is go bot lane and wait for them to answer top. You can dive the last person, you can poke them off that last turret, and grab that final 3rd inhibitor. They are ridiculously far ahead, so EG can look to end here. We see that Akaadian is actually behind them, looking for a potential flank, and this may be their opportunity here.
Kicked in. Kumo is going to get taken down here, obviously. The team can stand as 4 towards the bot inhib and still escape, but it doesn't look like they're going to get away right away. Taunting Dignitas a little bit to see as aphromoo comes out of the journey just a little short of the wall to make sure he can participate with the team. Bang actually just picks up his first assist of the game as he was just chilling, letting Jiizuke do all the work throughout everything. And now him and Zeyzal staying out on front. Looks like they're going to just keep an eye on where Dignitas is so they can't get too far out, can't place too many wards. And EG, Bang, and Zeyzal are going to wait for the rest of the team to come up. They're just, they're having fun right now, Zale.
Yep, exactly. I mean, they're just zoning so that Svenskeren and Jiizuke can take the dragon. If you are tracking them at that base and they're so unafraid, they know how poor the engage is.
Yeah.
Bard ulti is down. Again, it's the tracking of cooldowns. Bard ulti is down. Lee Sin kick is down. How will they ever catch this Ezreal Yuumi combo? The answer is they won't. So that is why they are confident to actually sit there as a 2-man squad and shift forward into 5 members, going aggressively like this, just poking them out. They now have the Mountain Soul, so bursting someone down becomes even more difficult. The Mountain Soul can actually, regenerate in combat. As long as you are not getting hit, you can be hitting them and still actually regenerate that big shield. So that makes it even more difficult now to burst someone down who's going to have that Yuumi healing behind him, and they've got the package to boot. EG is closing in.
Oh, wow. Akaadian taking a few shots. The big one just misses, but it's going to be the Airy coming through from Zeyzal that takes him down as they now start what could be the final fight. Inhibitors dropped all across the base of Dignitas as that is the final one, and the Nexus turrets in the eyes of evil geniuses. 3 and 2 is what they are in the Summer Split as they look to put one more win in that left column with a few more pads on the KDA, but it looks like Dig finds solace on the fountain. In just the last moments, their Nexus is open, and EG is putting on the final touches to take down Dignitas.
Really well played game there by EG. Grab another kill or two, pad the KDA up a little bit more there, Riv. And why not? They deserve it. But EG right back to business as usual. Had a bad game yesterday. Jiizuke off the carries, playing the supportive role on Karma. Did not look himself, but very clearly was a simple fix. He's back on the Corkis in his comfort zone. And this one was just really well played by EG. It was all about the neutral objective control. It was all about the dragon stacking where they could force their opponents to come and fight them, you know, when they had basically the strongest point in the game. You know, they hit this really powerful power spike on the Ezreal and the Corki. It's extremely well timed out for that soul fight. So even though they actually lost the dragon to a smite steal, they run over the fight, they grab the Baron, all of a sudden they're enormously ahead in gold, and it was pretty much just over from there. I mean, Dignitas just didn't have great comeback mechanics. They're too reliant on the Bard ultimate to actually get those engages, and the Yuumi speed ups plus the the Ezreal shift and the Corki Valkyrie. It's like it's actually really hard to land a Bard ult on those members.
All of them can just kite everything, and you really said it before. They can't. We saw this composition, the Corki and the Yuumi, and it did the same exact thing. So now you know. Now you know, and pick some bands. So to hear more from the Victoria Squad, Pastry will be here after the break with a Verizon post-game interview. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to the Verizon post-game interview. I'm Patrick. I'm here with Kumo of Evil Geniuses after another win. Kumo, how you feeling after the week 3 of the LCS is all done and dusted?
Feeling okay. I think I'm pretty sad that we lost the game yesterday, but I mean, we kind of got destroyed, so I mean, I'm glad we won today, though.
Seems like things are maybe back in business. On yesterday, though, I actually had a very specific question, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the result of the game. I actually wanted to ask about Volibear, specifically the Gunblade you ended up building, which is not something that we've seen any of in the LCS. Can you explain a little bit about that build specifically?
Yeah. I mean, I think Gunblade against Shen is quite good in the matchup because, I mean, he can't really build both armor and MR, I think. And yeah, you just have good sustain and you can get push on Shen, which, like, he wants to get push and ult, but if you push on him, he has less playmaking, I think.
Makes sense. And then just kind of stepping back a little and talking about your role in your team specifically. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Jiizuke and how good he's been for EG. So kind of what do you put yourself and your role in the team right now, given a lot of the star power and the playmaking is often behind your mid laner?
Not too sure. I mean, I think my role is just try to play the best I can. I think that's what everyone should be doing.
And I do think you've been having a particularly good season. Do you feel like, from spring to summer on this team, having a little bit more time to gel, that you've hit the marks you want as far as how much you're improving and how well you're playing?
I don't think I've hit the mark of where I want to be. I think I can still keep on improving, and I want to keep on improving. So yeah, I think I haven't hit that point yet, and I want to see if I can hit that point, like, during this one.
Fair enough. And then my final question for you. With your win today and FlyQuest's loss, actually, you are now in a 5-way tie for second. So this is a very loaded question, but of those 5 teams, who do you think is the second best team?
Obviously us.
Makes sense? Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And of course, you actually are playing FlyQuest as well, so you could potentially break that and kind of be up in second all on your own. What do you think of the upcoming matchup versus Fly?
Yeah, I think we lost to them last split in playoffs, but I think this time it'll be different. And yeah, I think we'll be able to win.
Well, best of luck to you in that matchup. Thank you so much for joining me. Back to Dash and the analyst desk, though, for the Bud Light breakdown.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. Evil Geniuses moving to 4-2 with that victory, so breaking just above 500 to close out week 3 and making that conversation for second best team continually more interesting. I want to talk about this game, though, because it felt so slow to progress in a sense until those breaking moments where all of a sudden EG was ahead. But I want to determine then who was playing it right, who was playing it wrong, or, in that sense of who was correctly controlling the pace of the game.
The team that does not have Lee Sin has no problem playing slow. So when you've got Yuumi, Corki, Ezreal, you can just farm it out. You're going to have a good time later on. So EG knew that their spike would come later. It was all about Dignitas that they needed to win early.
Yeah, the full poke comp. They had Corki building Manamune, they were definitely in the scaling mindset, and it was on Dignitas to make plays happen. Even Jayce, which is mostly an early game champion, you saw in the Golden Guardians game, late game can still one-shot any squishy champion if you're building all damage.
Yeah, so especially the way with Corki Yuumi wanting to spike in that mid game, that's definitely their style, and I would say I'm pretty happy about this. I don't know if it's all because Dignitas is also a slow team, but if it's all EG's, game plan, we're going to play slow this game, I'm very happy because their other Karma game where they kept making things happen, you need to have 2 speeds, all right? If you're losing early game and they have to win it, you need to know how to slow down.
I think that's a really valid point, and exactly as a comparison to that last game with the Karma, where things kind of got off the rails rather quickly. And while EG picks up that win, many players surprised us this weekend, but only one will be able to claim the title of MasterCard Player of the Week. And for Week 3, that goes to Cloud9's jungler, Blabber.
Wow, I mean, he was a beast. He was a
Oh,
beast.
you sound so excited, Crumbs.
Well, to me, like, I looked at a lot of the other players, and first of all, it was hard to look at anybody as a real contender outside of Cloud9, and
Right.
Blabber in particular was really standout. He had a lot of moments where, okay, he might be going in and dying, but when they came to objective control and when they came to mechanics in the team fights, he was really good.
Yeah, his Lee Sin is absolutely incredible. It popped off both games this weekend with it. A lot of people on C9 were also good at different points, but he was the most consistent between their two games. And then a lot of the other competition this week, went 1-1. A lot of teams that people thought were starting to look better, e.g. FlyQuest, TSM, everyone's kind of went 1-1 this week. C9 looked like clearly the best team.
I mean, yeah, his Lee Sin kick against TL, I think, was a big breaking point in that game, which was a very close match. So I definitely give him a lot of props for that. And now, this week, we had Olaf banned in both games, and he has to play Lee Sin twice, and he goes off on Lee Sin now. So have fun with draft, coaches.
I thought for sure he was a one trick. I can't believe
yeah, I didn't know he
more
knew more than one. I thought he listened to Crumbs' advice to
Right.
get into LCS. Play
Yeah,
solo queue, play two champs.
Next, they'll shove him onto Nocturne. A fantastic weekend for Blabber. I will point out that I really enjoyed Licorice's performance today on the Wukong, but when you take the whole weekend holistically into account, Blabber was a step above the rest. Let's check in on the standings as we close out the week. Cloud9 will still hold that top spot in sole possession, but we now have 5 teams tied for second place. So that question we asked at the top of the day, who's the second best team in the league? We are far from decided from a standings perspective.
I was right.
You're right. Actually, Crumbs
No,
was
you
right.
weren't.
He said
one of them-
nobody.
I see my team in second place right now, and
One
Mark's
of
team
them-
in second place.
Interesting.
One of them is the second best team. If you made a gauntlet and they all played, someone would win. Just because we don't know doesn't mean it doesn't exist. This is epistemological 101.
Thank you for keeping us grounded, Mark. I can always count on you for that. The LCS returns with Friday Night League next week as 100 Thieves are going to face off against the Golden Guardians, and CLG will take on Cloud9. But if you can't wait till Friday for the LCS, tune into The Dive, This or That, Academy Rush, and more for all kinds of LCS action all week long. That's going to do it, though. That's our show. So now on behalf of myself, the casters, the entire remote broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you over on twitch.tv/BudLight for the Bud Light League Lounge. Good night.